quickly, so we'll keep going. Severus. Grand Scrutator Severus. Scrutators require a singular strength of presence. They belong to the inner circle of priests responsible for policing the clergy itself, who in turn controls the entire protectorate of Menoth. They must be able to overwhelm the minds of the faithless and instill in them a feeling of piety, servitude, and fear of the divine reckoning. Scrutators cannot show the slightest weakness or doubt. Grand Scrutator Severus is the stoutest pillar holding up the Grand Temple of Menoth. He commands the entirety of the protectorate military and answers only to the hierarch. Severus has single-handedly converted thousands of heathens and infidels to the true law. In the past decades, he's marched far afield into other nations as an unofficial ambassador of the faith, one too powerful to ignore and too dangerous to confront. After the particularly fruitful trip to the Kodor in 570s, he was banned from that nation, for thousands abandoned the motherland and answered his call to join the protectorate. Because the protectorate has since mounted increasingly militant and aggressive crusades, Severus has ceased his mission in order to focus on leading Mennonite forces in battle. Conversions remain a priority, but he conducts it now on subjugated villages and towns whose defenders have been slaughtered or driven away. In a parallel to Menoth's ancient war with the Devourer, Severus lives to battle the enemies of his faith. He has a powerful thirst for the destruction of blasphemers and brings a commanding presence and undeniable genius to the battlefield. His warjacks come alive with the same fervor as his converts. His plans are laid well in advance, for he has a brilliant grasp of both strategy and tactics. Indeed, Severus has a plan in motion that will not come to fruition until far past his lifetime. While he is a visionary, he is also deeply traditional and strives to return the world to a state ordained by Menoth at the dawn of civilization. Age may have withered the warcaster and stolen his former strength, but what he lacks in bodily prowess, he makes up for with divine power. As the blaze of Menoth's wrath, he is able to breach the minds of non-believers with a single word. So potent is his righteousness, he wades through otherwise deadly arcane attacks as if they were no more than illusion. Severus is the eye of the hurricane and a center of focused spiritual control, willing to annihilate anything around him that threatens his faith. Severus's divine nature is so strong that if he so chooses, he can thunder out a litany of Menoths declaring the Creator's glory. With a great boom, this divine rite reverberates to all enemy warcasters within earshot, rendering their blasphemous connection to their impure mechanica. This litany proves that all things are Menoth's, and neither pagan sorcery nor heathen witchcraft can stand against him. Through Grand Scrutator Severus, Menoth's glory is unmistakable, and his voice shall be heard. Weirdly enough, I've never had to go up against Severus, but I heard that he is a great auditor of the faith, and that's why he is so good at getting converts. Also, he is not super strong like some of the Kodorans that we've talked about in the past, but he is a very good talker, so that is that. But let's see what his Mark III to Mark IV changes include. Alright, he appears he still has his same stat line. Same speed of 5, same mat of 4, yeah, because he's a little older now. His defense dropped to 14, his arm dropped to 14. He still carries his same staff of judgment. Still a swinging of 2, still a magical weapon, and still a POW 13, which is a little bit better than his previous weapon, but I imagine it since all Menoth weapons are more artifacts that show the faith, I imagine that's probably why it's a little bit better in the hand of a Grand Scrutator. And he is still a focus of 8. However, his control area dropped back to 14 inches, just because your control area is no longer twice your focus, because certain warcasters really got screwed over pretty hard with that, especially the 5 to 6 focus warcasters. So, but let's go over his spell list and see what's changed there. Or his ability list. We'll get to the spell list. Alrighty, in his abilities, he still has his Eye of Menoth ability, which gives all friendly faction models within his control range a +1 to attack and damage rolls, which is insane. And then he also still has Sacred Ward, so he cannot be targeted by enemy spells, which is awesome because I have been hit with an enemy spell once or twice, and it's never a fun time when that happens in the field. But let's go over his spell list and see what has changed there. Alright, appears he still has Ashes to Ashes. It's still a cost of 3, still a range of 8, and still a POW of 10, and then it still causes D3 nearest models to be hit within 4 of this model for another POW 10 damage or fire damage rolls on that. It still has a Death Sentence, still a cost of 2, range 8, upkeepable, yes. And a Death Sentence allows you to reroll missed attack rolls on enemy target model / unit, so that's nice. We still have Defender's Ward, which is a cost 3, range 6 upkeep spell that gives target friendly faction model / unit a +2 defense and a +2 arm. So that's nice, just a good solid defense armor spell. And appears he still has his Immolation spell, so he can still catch people on fire. Still a cost of 2, range 8, POW 12, and still has the critical continuous fire effect, so fantastic. And then looks like he also still kept his Influence, which is a cost 2, range 10 spell, allows you to take over target enemy non-leader warrior model. And then you can make 1 basic attack, and then it expires, so that's always fun to have. And then he still has his Vision spell, which is a cost 2, range 6 upkeepable spell. When target friendly faction model is directly hit by an attack, you can choose to have it suffer no damage from that attack, and then Vision expires. So his spell list hasn't changed, his stat line hasn't changed, outside of his control range having to drop to a 14 instead of its original 16, so I think that's the only downside. But let's read over his feat, see if that's changed. Alrighty, well, the only thing really changed on his Divine Might feat is the wording. The wording was originally while in Severius control range, enemy models cannot cast spells or be used to channel spells, and enemy warcasters and warlock models suffer -2 focus and -2 fury. They just cleared up that last sentence by enemy leaders suffer -2 arc, because now there is no real focus or fury, it's just arc, so it just makes it a little easier for the wording. But that's it, last one round. So as far as his Mark 3 to Mark 4 changes, really didn't change much at all outside of some wording differentiations there and his control range dropping down. He is still a fantastic model for utility reasons. He makes everybody around him a little bit better with Death Sentence, with Defender's Ward, with Influence, with Vision. He makes his units and guys around him just last all that much longer. And for anybody who's gone up against Menoth, you don't want to have that battle last any longer than you can stop it, because, well, a lot of fire can, do a lot of damage to a lot of things very quickly. So, but let's